Talk shoes. Recorded live.
Yo, this is Formatic with GodSpeed Nation. This is the segment of GodSpeed Nation broadcast where we deliver the latest information to you live. And I'm your host, Formatic of GodSpeed Nation. And tonight we're going to be talking about the 11 laws of the Metu group, or the 11 laws of Godspeed. And feel free if you got anything you want to say, chime in, or just sit back and listen. It's up, it's up to you. Hopefully we can get my brother Carvo. He in Taiwan right now. And man, that's like you got to really have to take a leap of faith if you're gonna move that far away from where you come from. And that brother did it. So big ups to him. And hopefully he can adjust. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, don't try to eat too much Chinese food. Watch out for the dogs. You better tell the cuff his dog. Now they eat dogs down there, over there. Yeah, cuff his dog. You don't sell bikes, they steal your dog. You go outside, your dog go. Your bike still sitting there, that motherfucker cost like $600. Don't give a fuck about that bike. But all serious, we're gonna break it down because this is what the Godspeed Nation is an aspect basically built off of, and it's the ancient ways, or as far as we can go back as we know, or as the information they perceive to us or give to us. We kind of use the method that the ancestors made, like a system. I always say it's easier to learn their system because they made it, they already know it, and they can talk to you faster than you try to make a system and have them learn it to talk to you. That might take a little bit longer, you know what I'm saying? So try to probably learn their system. And it's mathematics, but not the actual mathematics of school, 1, 2, 3 plus 4, 5, and all that shit. It's basically mathematics of life. And they got a system of numbers that they got to where they can communicate with you through the numbers, but you got to know what the numbers mean, or the aspect of the numbers, or the natures of the numbers, which is 1 through 9, and 10 is really 1 and 0 backwards. So 0 is the ether of God, 1 is you coming into being. So you start off 0 to 1, you coming into being, then you end up 1 to 0, which is 10. You taking all that ether that you learned, or 1 through 9 that you learned, and manifesting it, which is 10. Geb, earth, manifestation, the actual physical aspect of the nation. But we can start off. Let me see. We'll start off with I don't know if y'all signed up for Godspeed Nation. If you didn't, please do. And if you want to go to Godspeed Science and look for keep scrolling until you find the 11 laws of God, the Godspeed version. And we're gonna start off with 0. And it's there for you to study and learn, you know what I'm saying? But if you got your own method, you can use that too. But this is like the most concrete that I can put it as far as what this information means, because it's a lot of abstractness going on. People saying and acting like they know what they mean, or not say acting or thinking, but when you present something to them, or just period, you build with them, they can't quite comprehend the nature and the fact that it's real. It's basically like a fad or something to most people, something to study and to say I studied. And you can't show me what it got to do with life, then we got a problem. You know what I'm saying? I'm living. I want to take this and put it into the physical, put it on the table and see what I'm looking at, not just know it. I need to touch, taste, and feel it. So 0 being the law of Amen, which is they tell us to pray, we say Amen. This is where they get that from, Amen. But it's really Amen Ra, meaning Amen Ra, or pray, or Amen Ra to Ray. To Ray, to send forth your thoughts or your power or your will to a certain direction, place, people, or things, or to draw something to you. And it says, you were made in the likeness of peace, that nothing can disturb. Reclaim your peace, that you may attain your reason for becoming into existence, the enjoyment of life. Now this is really 0. This is the ether. This is before you come into the physical, and it's basically telling you to be. This is what you're supposed to carry into the 1 with. So 1 is meaning is you becoming. So B meaning is to live in the moment. Be nothing at this level. Well, we really don't reach this level because this is really the all. But you can feel attain this type of level in the physical. But that's a plight within itself. And at this level, you really master, like it's like the Buddha when he's sitting under that tree. He took it a little too far where you just sitting there, you ain't doing nothing, you're helping them. Well, you're kind of helping people, but You sitting under a tree, and a person got to come to you if they want information. Other than that, you just sitting under the tree. I mean, you ain't even moving. You just there. You happy within your own soul, mind, body, and spirit that you don't even have to move. So what he did was put himself into the zero stage, the ether, but his physical was still here. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of like, who wants to do that? It's cool. We use it as a supreme meditation. You know, he was a supreme meditatist. He knew how to meditate the hardest. You know, and that's their thing over there. Like niggas kill each other over here. Who can get the most kills is who can meditate the longest and the hardest. And I know y'all seen examples of motherfuckers in the meditative form or state and dead. I mean, he sat there that damn long under the God body that he just died right there. And he probably went pleasantly.
Mm-hmm.
But that is the all. The O, the zero, the O is the all-encompass. You know what I'm saying? That's what we can't see. Only maybe can feel. And we go into, matter of fact, I'm starting backwards because we're going to go from down up. We're going to go from the human nature when he born on this earth up. You know, we're not going to start from up there. It's going to sound kind of weird. So we're going to start from the bottom up, which is the law of Geb. That means physical. That means earth. That means here, the matrix. You know what I'm saying? Know that from heaven you came, and to heaven you will return. Seek nothing, but seek not enduring works on earth. Meaning is be in the world but not of the world. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that you from the ether and you're gonna return to the ether. So don't let too much things get to you because this is only an experience. And it's the aspect 10 is actual. It's like I said, the matrix. You know, here the manifestation of 1 through 9. What is in between, or how are you popping locking your 1 through 9, and what is the results, which will be 10. So 1 through 9 is the cause, 10 is the effect of you. 10 is like who you are, with you, how you use these different laws and talk and build with the ancestors to become you at that present time, which is the now. And on another foot, 10 would be the physical. Control earthly planes, molecular density. I can't quite read that, but basically what I just told you is the physical. It's the actual aspect of what it is going on now. And that's what you can see and touch, taste, and feel. So we go to 9, which is the feminine nature of the tree of life. It's the law of our set. Prepare to sacrifice everything to become the vessel of God on earth, and you will in turn receive everything. So basically what they're saying, when you let it all go, it all come back. You know what I'm saying? Be prepared to sacrifice, meaning is no matter what, you're going to be God body. And you can't really describe, you can only experience this situation right here. You know, I can't say what God going to do, how he going to do, what he going to show you. You can only experience it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the feminine aspect of the tree of life, which would be awareness of depth or being, emotions, initiation, learning, nourishing, healing, tenderness, and trance. So trance, women can go in trance very easy. And if a brother want to know, or any brothers want to know what trance is, or sisters, is when you're working. To say if you're working, you sitting there working, you're doing the same shit over and over and over and over. Your mind is off. You go into trance right there because you go away from that moment and start thinking about another situation. That's trance. That's an example of trance, that you actually somewhere else right at that moment. So where you fuck up what you're doing. That means you left the body and went somewhere else. Tenderness and healing, you know, that's a feminine nature, which is a mother's nature. And then I said it's basically the love, you know, the actual mercy, or the actual forgiveness, or the actual understanding, you know, general understanding, which America lacks a lot of our set, you know, because it's not that, you know, it's more ruthless. And with that, if a man can practice it, it'll really enhance his nature. And really, in these former times, I'll say it's like a pimp, you know, it's like Iceberg Slim or Don Juan. They got a lot of the offset, the feminine nature, you know, but it's using in what we would call a snakish way, or another method of getting money. You know, it's still a bogus way to use it. But what they're doing is they have mastered the feminine side of themselves, and they use it towards the women, but they still masculine, you know, predominantly. And they know how to nurture their feelings. They know how to heal their feelings or their wounds. Supposedly, you know, they got a certain. They know how to play with emotions. They understand emotions very well, and that's the the ninth chamber. And when you on the ninth chamber, she's, I said it's social. She like to socialize. She's the one that nature or that aspect is the one that's gonna, you very popular. Like Leos, they're very popular. They got the asset very the socialites, or what's her name, Paris Hilton, that socialite. They know how to get around the matrix. They know what to say to people, how to talk to people. They're very social. They're masters of the matrix. I said is a master of the matrix. She's gonna keep it moving. Where the brother's gonna sit there like, man, I ain't got time for that. She's gonna go out there and read the book. She's gonna go out there and study the paper. She's gonna go out there, drive the car. She's gonna go out there and actually indulge in all that damn paperwork that when the nigga look at, he be like, man, shit. They're like on occasion, they got so much shit now, and my brother just hand it to their wife. Like, man, I can't be fucking with that. She gonna do it. It's simple to her, and that's how they teach the school system. It's geared towards a feminine mind state. That's why she's able to flow through it, and the brother be catching like, hold up. It's not built like that. Travis didn't make it for that. He knew what he was doing when he made it. And in the feminine nature, she's submissive, but only submissive to the right thing. But if they can remove the right thing and put the wrong thing, she's still a submissive in nature. So he knew if he can get everybody to think or teach, or he can even teach you in your education under the feminine nature, pretty soon he would get this effect that he's produced now, skinny jeans and this young thug shit, that type of shit. He can. It's quite naturally. You learning gay, you're gonna actually be gay. You know what I'm saying? So that saying that I said is actually like a good version of that would be Sophia Stewart. The mother of the Matrix, the one who wrote the Matrix. And what she did was she wrote the third out of the book, and then so white boys picked it up and said, "Oh, this is ruthless." So they brought it to their producers, and they made a film about it. You know what I'm saying? And they stole her shit, and did what they did. And but in the middle.
And what movie is that, Paul?
The Matrix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was wrote by a black woman. Sophia Stewart wrote The Matrix. It was really the book called The Third Eye. It's not a movie book. It's not a movie. It's just a book. And they took that bits and pieces. This is just bits and pieces of her book. They didn't even get the full. You can't even get the full drawing with the movie. That's like taking 15 minutes of her book and try to make it into a whole movie. So you really read the book. It's very interesting. So what happened was she was representing our set, and like I say in the Metu Next that our set was trying to find outside pieces, scattered pieces, and put them back together. Meaning is that Set had made a casket for Asa, and he made it to his likeness. Meaning he tricked him. He made something look good, made something look like he wanted. And when I said indulge or got in the casket, he poured beetles in there and closed it and sealed it shut. Then he opened it up. Now he cut the body parts into 15 pieces or 13 pieces and threw it out all over the earth. So I said what job was trying to find it, but the choicest part was the phallus, which was the dick, which would mean the resurrection or erection. You see what I'm saying? To bring him back to life. And that was her whole purpose, is to bring him back to life, to get the 14 pieces, put them back together, meaning is to help him remember who the fuck he was. So what Sophia Stewart was doing was trying to show us an image of this, the Messiah, or how would the Messiah or the black God be. But what they did was took Neo and made him white. Well, it took GODBODY and made him white. So the black man would really comprehend what was going on. And then, they kept, they had to keep it kind of real, so they kept Morpheus black. But if you had Will Smith or the actual nigga who was supposed to play the Neo, then the black man would kind of understand more. So all they did was whitewash and switch the colors. And it was basically like GodSpeed Nation. It was basically entering into something's telling you something's going on. The ancestors talking to you. When he was laying on the table looking at the computer screen, and there was numbers flashing, that was the ancestors trying to tell him as an example. But with Neo being white, it don't look right. But if he was a black man, it looked right. But they had a number, they were trying to wake him up. They were trying to talk to him. So actually he was able to make it to the closest thing he can get to an ancestor was a physical manifestation of a GODBODY, which is Morpheus. And Morpheus told him, look, the shit you see, the shit you think, this, you felt this all your life. So you can either take the red pill, blue pill. You can believe what I'm saying, or you can take the blue pill, go back to sleep, and wake up in your fairy little, world. Mm-hmm. And this is what Aset was trying to do. This is what she did. Was she iterated a way to put the scattered pieces back together. She gave us an image of who we are, who we was. And what happened was the fact that they were so happy to get to make the movie that the Illuminati, or whatever you want to call them, the Star Hunters like Joe, they didn't get word. Once they got word that the movie was out there, they was kind of pissed. So they like, Joe, you fucking shit up. You know, who the hell told y'all to put that shit out there like that? You know what I'm saying? This ain't what we trying to put out there. We need something, that's bringing them too close to home. And when I say the skull hunters, they know the science. They know the supreme sciences. The people that work for them don't know. They're just trying to get paper, get a check, wear some red bottoms and Fendi belts and shit like that. But the upper ones, no, they got money. They don't got to do nothing. They study other shit. They don't have to worry about survival and how to get more money. They wealthy, so they study and do other shit. Right? They try to get control. Even the Masons is slaves to these people I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. Masons are slaves to these people. They play with the Masons. They play with, they got bread. So they do other shit like play with people's lives just to feel, good and shit like that. Get real into your life where you don't know it, but they come to the hood. Everybody seen the white man with the black sunglasses come through, ride through for no damn reason.
Right.
He's a billionaire. He just want to see how it feel. He want to see what his game look like. The game he put out there to play, he want to see what it look like. So he go to the hood and looking like, yeah, that shit working. I'm, whoever the fuck you think he is. So we're gonna go to the next one, which is that's 9. So our set is the feminine nature, meaning it's the woman. It's the woman's job to help the brother remember who he is. Or if the women would start liking brothers with knowledge, and the brothers would get knowledge. But since they like the dope dealers, the niggas out here trying to play dope boy. That's the whole thing. Like James Brown said, this is a man's world, but it won't be a damn thing without a woman touch. So, and I think Spike Lee was trying to give people that picture in what's that movie called he just made, Chirac. Like, women, y'all control it. You don't get no nigga no pussy. They don't stop killing. You don't give them no pussy. So he was basically putting out the feminine, he was showing you the asset nature, the power y'all got. You don't got to get out here in March, just start changing your lights. That's all, and you'll change everything else. So now we're going to go to 8, the law of Sebek. It is not what you think or what you affirm. It is who is thinking and affirming. Are you human or divine? Now I'm going to read that one, and then I'm going to go to the next section of what it say. Opposing forces brings you to the crossroads, labeling left brain. Now, from what I just read, the first from GodSpeed, from GodSpeed it is not what you think or what you affirm. It is who's thinking and who's affirming. What it is saying is that you can do all type of, people can tell you to do all type of shit. You ever know why the laws of power and the laws of attraction and all that red S shit that white people got for you? It seems like they're working. That shit hit or miss. It's all about who's doing it. You can do whatever, but it's who's doing it. It ain't what you do, it's who's doing it. If I transform myself to a supreme light, then no matter what I do, it's going to be light. If I say, instead of me trying to pick and choose what people say and little prayers and ceremonies and rules to do to try to make some shit work, no, change yourself in the shit. That's how it works. You see what I'm saying? So it don't really matter what you do. It's who you are doing it. It's who you are, what you think, how you feel, why you doing it, what have you programmed yourself to believe. You know what I'm saying? If I can say I'm GodBODY all day, but if I'm not programming myself to actually believe that shit, it's never going to get no effect. You know what I'm saying? You got to actually believe this. So a little buddy of mine tested his face. You know what I'm saying? He was GodBODY back in the day, but he had no mirror. So by him having no mirror, he knew all this information under the bastard language lick, but he couldn't speak it. He can only see it. Imagine that. You know what I'm saying? You're seeing people play with, you're seeing the matrix going on, but you can't say shit. And the shit you do say, you got to sound crazy because there's no language to use or no words to use to say it. Left brain, like I say, left brain thinking. H-Spirit is the left brain, the supreme white man. So we in a Sebek world, which is objects, concrete objects, money, left brain thinking, labeling, segregating, stuff like that. This is this is that, that is this is that. And what he did was, I'm trying to remember why I'm going to tell you this, but let me see. What he did was he jumped off a motherfucking bridge. Because he wanted to see, was he GodBODY, meaning it ain't who jumping off, it ain't what's jumping off the bridge, it's who jumping off the bridge. So Larry can jump off the bridge and die. He GodBODY. I know it, but he just been tormented through not having a mirror and through Smith and not knowing who Smith is and Azazel and not being able to say Azazel it's very tormenting. So he tried to jump. He jumped, and he didn't die. He just fucked himself up. But it was a big-ass bridge. He jumped on the E-way, and now, he's still walking around. But the thing is, he was GODBODY after he did that.
Mm.
So he fucking dead. So now he walking around with the Kanye West face, though, so it's kind of fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Now, he really wishes when he did that. But this is him trying to put himself back to sleep. Not really trying to put himself back to sleep, but trying to cope with people in a legit way. It's hard to find a crazy nigga sitting on 32s, 22s with the newest car and freshest clothes, but he crazy. They consider him crazy as hell. You know what I'm saying? So it looked kind of weird. He's not on the corner hanging out, begging for money. He had bread. The money didn't fucking matter. It was him trying to find insanity. So when he seen the GODBODY, he knew he was real, but by that time he already had fucked himself over. So all we could do was build. I used to know when he was a child, and we used to think to build the same way. But the thing is, he got away for a couple of years, and when he came back, he was fucked up. When I came back, I was still fresh to death. You know what I'm saying? So the question in that was, how do you maneuver? How do you know all this information and maneuver through the matrix? That's what he wanted. That's what he always want to ask me. Why do you maneuver like that, bro? How do you kick it with the goons and then still sit here and talk to me and understand everything I'm saying? How do you do that? You know what I'm saying? And I told him you got to be in the world but not other world.
Right.
I'm in the room with a bunch of babies.
Shadow. I want to say this, and like when you in it but not of it, you know what I'm saying? It's still communicating with those that are around you in that third dimension. Those shadows, I don't know if I'm finna sound crazy, but I'm just saying those shadows come around. Those shadows come, you know what I'm saying, and they forewarn you. And what I mean by shadows, I don't mean like shadows, night walkers. I mean like their hope. You know what I'm saying? It's like you see that shadow hope, in their peripheral. No matter whether when you look up, you might not see nothing.
You're looking at their aura. It's your imagination. Their aura.
Right.
Your imagination is what's perceiving the image. You can look at a person. We give an example. You can see two people today. I seen the red bone walk past me. She gone past me, and as I'm walking, about 10 minutes later, in my image or my memory of her, I see black or yellow, which is telling me that black is her aura. You see what I'm saying about her aura, meaning black, meaning she's a bogus ass broad. You see what I'm saying? That's the color I get.
You feel me?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but you see it firsthand while you're looking at them, so that's even more cooler. As they opening their mouth, the vibration of their voice or their energy is coming out their mouth, and so you can see from the vibration of their tone and the way they talk, you can see their color. Now you got to understand what the color you see meaning. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, you go to the chakra system. Purple, you rarely see that. Yellow, you're gonna see a lot of orange or red because niggas is in emotion, which is the gut or the lower, the lower chakras. You might see a lot of that. But if you see black, that nigga just bogus, you know what I'm saying? Or smoke color, cloud, or shade of gray, he just bogus as hell. It's a dark energy entity. And when you see light, it feed off of it if you allow it, That means answering dumbass questions because, they're playing with you. No, you just be sarcastic and play with their ass back. Asking the dumbass question. You know what I'm saying? But that's 8. 8 is basically concrete objects, and actual money just. How do you, 8 miles, how do you get away from money? That's that's why they lock you in there. Okay, they got you at 10. They got you imitation. 10 is really, 9 is imitative. You imitate what you see. So 10 is basically you being whoever you is. 9 is you imitating what you see. So they gave you something to imitate under the 9. They gave you something to submit to under the 9. So then they take you and trap you with the 8, meaning what is going to be their drive? What is going to be the ultimate capital of the situation that gives them the reason to live? We want money. So that's the money. That's the backwards, meaning it's the crocodile. It's devouring. You know what I'm saying? It's pulling you under the water, turning you, spinning you till you drown. And the other side to that is the crossroads. So it's like when I say Smith, all bad work for the good, or at a certain level, Smith work for you. He brings you to the crossroads. He brings you to the crossroads of life. He's either going to change you for the good or it's going to change you for the negative, but you're going to the crossroads. You're going to have to figure it out when you get there, whether you want to know it or not. So that's called bullshit happening, bad things happening in your life that kind of changes you. You know what I'm saying? Supreme bad shit. When Smith sends you a package, meaning this, that, and this, not just this. So that's a crossroad. And that's depending on what at that moment what you're going to do is going to determine to your future movement or your forward movement. And each one of these chambers is really is life. And if you lacking in one chamber, it's gonna always present itself to you. So if you lacking in the social, it's gonna always present itself to life. Gonna always present itself to you when you should have been social. If you lacking in the somatic, meaning it is, life gonna always present a situation where you gotta think, is you human or divine? When you gotta think, is this real or it ain't? You see what I'm saying? So whichever one you really lacking in life is gonna present you to. This is what the ancestors was trying to tell us in the beginning. So they made a system, and you can't get around it. So if I ask a question, you know what I'm saying, like, what is my problem? And I keep seeing 8, 8, 8, 8. Then I'm like, okay, what the fuck 8 mean? The law of Sebek. What does the law of Sebek do? Labeling. You know what I'm saying? This, that is that, this is this, and then the other. What else? Left brain thinking, meaning I'm thinking too left-brained. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm labeling, whatever. Then you will get the meaning of whatever you're doing, in your life. And do you believe? Is basically what it's asking. Do you believe? Do you believe? Okay, I'm going to put it in a situation where I'm going to see if you believe. And they keep the church people locked under the 8. Do you believe in Jesus? So a lot of people on earth have not went as far as 9 and 8. So imagine that 85% is at 8. You got to get all the way up to 1. They kept us at 8. We only at 8 right now. And to get to 7, we call special people with special abilities, creative people, entertainers, stuff like that, meaning they have got to a certain aspect of their imagination to where they can be somebody, or they have rolled past 8, you see what I'm saying? And they made it to 7, which is the law of Haru. It is not what you imagine, it's who imagine. Are you human or divine? So saying is imagination. It's not what you it is not what you imagine, it's who is imagining. It's just like 8. It's not like when they tell you to imagine this and think of that and you can produce that. No, it's actually, this shit will never work if it actually determines the person who is doing it, which is going to determine if it works. And 7 holds a certain power.
Right, and I want to use Chris Rock for an example of it. Like when Chris Rock spoke at the award show of his opening, he would be a good example of what you are speaking of, because he used 8 and 9 as his most prominent numbers as he was speaking. A lot of people didn't realize that, but he did. He spoke on 8 and 9 a whole lot. Even when he spoke on different numbers, they still went back to 8 and 9. But anyway, I'm through.
Okay, where you got now was used as a social event, which was actually what you said the awards was the ninth, the social event, supreme social event. Then you got this, you said 8 and 9, then you got 8. He must have been talking to white people because they under the supreme left brain thinking. You see what I'm saying? So there you go. Like, once you know these numbers, they always going to talk to you. They know you can't even get away from it. I had to step back because it was too out. It was just, it becomes overwhelming sometimes. You ask a question and you get the answer through a number. And so we get to 7. Like I said, that's a supreme imagination. That's how GodSpeed Nation was written and built in the images. And in that you hold a power, because in your imagination, it's imagining a nation, which is your third eye, your ability to colorize your third eye, to put expression on the things you see that's unseen without sounding crazy. So you use your imagination. That's why I say Smith. That's why I say Azazel. These are things that hold no words in the English language. And if you can't speak of it, you can see it, but you can't fight it, you can't do nothing about it but witness it, or you can just be numb from it. So when you use your imagination, you can color the ether. When I color the ether, you can see, it looks different than the black and white. And they can say Joseph had a coat of many colors. So Joseph was under the 7th act. He had the supreme going on. See, all this is in the Bible, and every damn thing you read, he had a coat of many colors, meaning they was talking about the 7, the nature of the 7th spirit. The nature of the imagination, and his thing was he imagined he was going to be a king, and he had to hold that imagination or that image powerful in his mind while his brothers or the niggas around him were telling him that's bullshit. Imagine that. So they got tired of him and threw his ass in the well, meaning as a youth, you telling your people your dream, they're going to tell you that's bullshit, then they're going to hate on you and make sure it don't happen. So that's when they threw his ass in the well, and he still kept his imagination because he imagined that he would get out, and he imagined the way he'd get out, and the good Samaritan came and got his ass out. That was the power in his imagination. But he was still in the well imagining himself being king, but at the bottom of the motherfucking earth in darkness. The lowest point in his life. And he still believed or still imagined or still willed. So when the Good Samaritan came and got him out the well, walked him down to where he had to go, he became king. Then he came before his brothers, and they like, damn.
Rise and shine.
Right.